Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Thursday, January 20th. Starting with Amazon here. Look, we're on track. It's edging lower, but looking from here, we're still looking at 1 and 2 and wave 3, 4 and 5 to move down. How smoothly will that go? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, so we can expect the 3,000 major trading level 3 to be a bit of a bumpy journey coming down into that space. But yeah, let's just go into the tick chart as we normally do and check on that. So we talked about adding to a short position yesterday on this low here. This is, I mean, I can count 5 waves down to here, so we've got 1 and 2 here. And this is probably also 1 and 2 in here as well. So just wanted to see how that plays out here for that. I think it's probably in there. I'll need to go to the 5 tick chart, but I'm not going to worry about that today. Yeah, so we'll just leave the stop out of the way. And yeah, look, it's going to be, I said it's going to be a bumpy ride on the way down. It has been bumpy in this regard. Will we get sort of more of that? I'm not quite sure, but at least we'll, expect it. If you want to take any profits off the table, well, then the 100 and the 3,000 would be the go. But we should be heading sort of lower. I was kind of thinking down at the 2.8, but sometimes they just don't let go of the 3,000 and they just sort of go to the 2.9, which is not the 9 is not a strong number. It's just the fact that the 3,000 has still got the pull on it. The orders will be, pulling it back to that point. But this is the real support in the market here, the number 8. Yeah, so anyway, all going well. Let's move along to Alphabet. And this is just 100 ticks here. Don't need to really go anywhere. It's got the same pattern as Amazon, really, hasn't it? So we can also look to add to that. We're also in minor group 2 here. So yeah, a bit of a dance in here. So 65, 72 and 80. And the next step along the journey here is really to have the 72 here, which is the 2720, as the retested resistance there. Most people would gravitate to the 2700. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. The 700 and the 600, they tend to have tops and bottoms in them, but the lower end here at the 50 tends to be in a balance between these two and very good for trade setup. So yeah, if this became the resistance, well then we're short. If this became the support, we'll start to move in, because then we know that the market's in group 2, it'll climb higher and so on and so on. Yeah, but yeah, look, every number is important. I'm just putting them in in their correct order in terms of how people think in psychological terms, and also the Fibonacci sequence as the market expands through time and space. Alrighty, nothing more to really see or do here. Apple here, I was thinking that, originally Apple would just stay within group 2 here, and that probably is still the case. Group 2 is 65, 72 and 80 once again, but this is a minor degree here. And we can see the stochastics, George Lane's indicator. He used to day trade the S&P and created the stochastics to help him. He was an Elliott trader as well. Yeah, so anyway, let's go in and have a bit of a look at this. So from B to C here, we're looking for 5 waves. And yeah, a little bit messy. Let's move in here a bit further. So let's get this into perspective. So we've got wave B up here, and we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1 here, and ABC for 2 here. Minky's in the background scratching around. Little doggy. So wave 2 here, I'm looking down at wave 1 here, then wave 2. Now, I thought about having wave 3 here, which is probably acceptable, but I'm thinking we could also have it as wave 1 and 2 here, because it's pulled back up to the 50%, basically. So a wave 4 would be 40%. and a wave 2 would be 60%. So it's kind of in the middle there. So I'll just leave it and it will play itself out. Yeah, so anyway, this is the 65 here, 65, 72 and the 80, so it's quite, there's a big space up here. So there's a lot of other levels involved in all of that once you open it, once you sort of, get inside it, so to speak. So let's just see how this continues to play out here. But yeah, look, we've got a short position there now. We'll just keep it above the 70 for the time being. Like I said, I don't know if that's wave 2 here or wave 4. I mean, the speed of it looks like a wave 2. That's the thing about that. So anyway, no drama. We'll just chill and let's see if we can make some more money out of this. I don't need to go to the 5 tick on this. It's not really going to give us anything that we don't already know. And Meta platforms. So yeah, still expecting it to move lower, pretty much based on this move here because it's corrective. So that means we should be taking the low out here unless we're moving into some sort of triangle pattern or some other pattern. Once again, we can see here in this particular instance that we major trading level 3 here, and then we've got minor group 1, so 1, 2 and 3, 10, 20 and 30. And having the market come down here, I always expect the worst. I always expect I'm a half glass full kind of guy, but coming into group 1, I know that how bumpy it can get, and it's it's been it's settling in there, it's getting in there. Into group 1, we can see, when you sort of look at it, it's got support on the midpoint, on the pivot here within group 1, the 2. Once the number 2 becomes the resistance, if it becomes the retested resistance, then it'll be pulled down to 3 at that point. But it's moved in here, and it's got the 3 here as the resistance, and it's got good support here. It's probably a nice 61.8% retracement level around to this point. So yeah, anyway, the next step is really to get that 320 as the resistance there. So a bumpy ride, but let's go in and just check on that as well. So let me just get my bearings. So still expecting it to come lower. We've got wave 1 here and 2 here. And then I had it as wave 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here. And then 1 and 2 here. And yesterday we talked about a couple of targets up here. So it just depends on how you count this here. There's possibly another little move up through here. I mean, if I took the low from here, then it'll just be an A and a B and a C, and it's done and dusted. If I took it from over here, then this would be the A wave here, the B wave here, and then a C wave up here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, but looking a little bit bearish. But the stochastics here are suggesting that there could be a bounce at that point. So we'll just chill. We'll leave the stop out of the way. The other point with all this, you could count this as 1, 2, 3, 4 here, bit of an overlap, and then 5. So wave 1 and 2 here for that. So not that it matters that much at this point, but it's something that we'll need to resolve further down the track with all of this. But yeah, you can see that the number 2 here is in minor group 1 is the support, and it's just retesting supply. Some markets like to cover gaps, so on. But let's just see how this continues to play out amongst all of this here. Let's do a little bit of housework while we're here. We're still looking for that wave 3. So it's quite a long way down. So. Yeah, look, it's a bumpy ride, but, if you're going to win the rodeo, you've got to stay on. Okay, let's cruise on. So this is Microsoft here, and look, it's sitting very squarely on the major trading level 3 here for but the pressure's still to the downside here, and this is a weekly chart here, and on this weekly chart here, I've got it 1 degree smaller. When we go to our daily chart, we're looking at this wave 4. So I'm just still mulling that over. Yeah, I mean, I haven't resolved it in lots of other markets yet, but yeah, it doesn't really matter at this stage. It's still a wave 4, and still looking to pull back to a previous wave 4 and so on. Just wanted to have a little look at this here and move to the daily as we normally do here. So yeah, good reason for more support at, you know, being low here. It's starting to trip out a little bit because it's testing its previous lows, and it's what the indicator does. So all the indicators are, you know, they're okay as long as you understand the subtleties of them all. So look, it's a bit of lots of support at the 300, and it's a bumpy ride through here. I don't quite know how this is finishing off. As I mentioned before, wave 1 here is really quite long, so the rest of it could all squash up because we really just want to get down to this point here. So there was one case that we talked about yesterday, which was down for 1 here, back for 2 here, down for 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here, all squashed up. It's a possibility. So yeah, I mean, in terms of trading long here, you know, like getting the wave 4. What I like to see, just generally speaking, is that working with a number here, we know that when we're working with the 300, we're really, in the bigger picture, we're working with group 1 above and group 2 below. So anything inside of that can be a little bit tricky. But in terms of going long here, it's really good when the market comes below the level here. Right, and then if it picks up the demand, then it'll push it back up, and then we can get our little classic trading levels pattern sitting on, you know, on that level there in one way or another. So we've got to get that as tested support, and we can go long here. We can build in on these levels. That's the beginning of the trend. So you know, going from wave 4 to wave 5, wherever that may be up there. The trend's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, and if we can, you know, build in 4 positions here and then eventually get support on top of group 1 here, then we know that we'd be pushing up to the 5 at that point. And there'll be a correction at 5, well, because not just because of the history, but because 5 is the second strongest number, and it attracts orders and yada yada yada. We can also just wait for that, be patient. We can get out, get back in, you know, do a little dance here, but classic trading levels pattern, and then move back in and head up to the 400 at that point. So, but building in here, this is you know, this is what it's all about here. So I don't know how this is going to finish off here, but let's go in and shoot the breeze on it. It could just cut through much deeper in all of this as well. I did have another. I think it was on the monthly chart here. Let me just move. Got to move my little recording thing to the side so I can see. I mean, I was looking at. No, it wasn't the monthly then. Must have been. Oh, it must have been another chart. Doesn't matter. Lost the plot. Let's just go back to the daily tick chart here. So yeah, I was looking at this bouncing along the 300 here. It's just probably don't need that much. It could be enough. Yeah, that's enough. So we've got our wave B at the top here. I've counted 5 waves down here, not a problem. Then we're looking for wave 2, that was all right. And then we've got 5 waves in this move through here. And then I was looking at this particular move here. I've got 5 waves in here. Can't really see what's going on in here, but I thought that this can be an A wave here with an A and a B and a C wave here for the B wave, and then 5 waves up for the C wave for wave 4, because we're talking about having wave 3 really short, and then wave 4, and then wave 5 to the downside. So I don't know how this is going to play out. If this is going to, if wave 5 here is going to come down and be shorter, then we could look at, take the length of this one here and look at 78.6 probably length, which would probably just take us below the 300 here. So I just want to see if this is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 coming down here and finishing off at that point. And then if that is the case, then yeah, we'll keep an eye on, look to build in. I mean, it might be down for down for one, back for two, down for one, back for two, and and trip on cascade down lower from that. So I'll be aware of that as well. I'll just be aware of all the possibilities. But like I said, the important thing here is I'm not interested. I never really trade into large numbers. I mean, if I was short, if I was personally short here, I'd be getting out. I never really wait till I get to a big number either. I always get out before that, But in this case, I'd be out at 303 because that's the top of subgroup 1 at that point. I saved myself a lot of grief by doing that. So let's just see. I mean, like I mentioned, I want to see the market below this level, and then I'll see how it climbs above it, and then we can just put in very small orders, and then build on this level here. Once we got that, then we can build on the next one, and then build on the next one, and look to go from one large number to the next large number of the same degree. So 400 would be perfect for that. So we'll see how that plays out. So a bit of patience on that. And Tesla here, I've got wave E over here all by itself. That's just to remind us that we could be working in a triangle pattern, because we can look at this as a 3-wave move and a 3-wave move and so on. But otherwise, we're still looking for it to move lower, and this would be wave 1 and 2. And it's going to take some time to get through that one here, like it did over here. It had a bounce up here, and eventually, had a little dance in here. We haven't even moved through it yet. It's chipping away at the demand. So we'll just see how that sort of plays out. So always a bumpy ride migrating from support to resistance on such a large number. And 1 is the strongest number in the market. And it doesn't matter if it's 1 cent or 10 cents or $1 or $10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000. They're all 1 or even 100, So they just, I mean, people think of, if you're thinking of, 10 or something, or, people would think of if we break it down to 10, that's always good. So people would think of, you'll see the orders build up. People think of 10, they don't really think of 9 or 11. Now, that's not quite true, because a lot of orders will build up at 9 and 11, but it's really all about the 10. And then if you drop it down before that, well, the even number, would people be thinking of 9 or 8 or 7? They'd be thinking of 8. And so that's why I call 8 a profit-taking number as you're moving up to it, because that's where the people are going to get out early at 10, and they want to get out early, and they want to be safe about that. They'll go for 8 rather than 9. And 7's a bit low, so they go to 8. And you'll just see that in the market. I don't even need to look at the market depth anymore, because I know how the orders work, how they sort of congregate around one number, and then when another number is pulling it, it's kind of like I don't know, elastic, and it just sort of pulls it out and snaps and pulls up to the next number. Anyway. So Tesla. So, look, the bottom line here is we need it. We need the one, if this is going to be true, then we need the number 1 here as the resistance. So this move down through here, we looked at the 61.8%. That was cool. This is probably 50% from that low to that low. So, we can look to go long. Well, we can certainly look to go long above here. That's not, if we were wrong, and if you think the market is an ABC for wave 4 here and up for 1 here and back for 2 here, but I can't see this back for 2 here because it's in 5 waves. And then this one here is corrective. Could it be up for 1 here and an A and a B and a C here? Possibly, but then we're sort of dropping down pretty deep into the 61.8%. Could we go long above here? Well, we could go in and have a bit of a squizzy at that. So let's go to the 100. So we're going to go long above there. We can go long above there. But we're a long way from that. And it's going to be sort of bumpy in here. We're short here at the moment. Probably got another short trade here. How do we count this? I mean, I've got, we can look at this as 5 waves and then an A and a B and a C here for wave 2. We can look at this as an impulse wave. We can look at this coming back for wave 2 here. That looks like an impulse wave. Could it be an A wave and a B wave and a C wave back up to here? Yeah, well, sure. This is the problem with working with this number. It's like, but the good thing about here, all of this here, that will support, but really now it's becoming the resistance, isn't it? And it's done that, it's tested it here. So we'll probably work lower. I just don't know if that wave 2 is here because it looks so impulsive here, or we're going to come over here and come back up and test it again and so on. I don't know, but we need to get under the level here. We can put a stop. I think I looked at having stops in this market. I'll just go to the 5-tick chart here for a moment. All right, I did bring the stop right down. So probably a little bit dangerous, but we're shorted here and you may have some here, and we don't want a bigger bounce. I mean, I'll leave it up to you. It's kind of, I like protecting profits, and we could certainly get this wrong because it could certainly go to here as a C wave and then come back down and then move on all the way down here, and you start throwing stuff at me again, so but I'll leave that up to you. It's important to protect. A small profit's a good profit. A bigger profit is a better profit. But I don't like to turn a winning trade into a losing trade either. So at the end of the day, it's all about finding balance in what you do. And if you look for the balance, then you're always going to be satisfied. Not in ecstasy or not in tears, but trades to me, I just associate it to washing dishes. You just wash one and put it in the rack and wash the next one and put it in the rack, and you're thinking of other things while you're doing it. That's the beauty of doing mundane chores. I like doing them. Anyway, that's another story. So yeah, look, I just don't think it's finished down here because we've got 1 and 2 here, and this is impulsive here. I'm not sure what this is, but we should be sort of poking it and pressing pressure to end up being below the level here. So you may want to keep the stop out of the way up here, and that's fine too. So the other stop here would be if you had got 30 as the level there, so you can go to 34 or 37. So when you're on the short side, you put stops at 4 or 7. That's what the last number should end like. But I'll leave that up to you to figure out. Okay, moving on to whatever's next, to Square. So I've put Square at the end here because it's kind of in the banking sector. And then if we look at Square, we can have a look at, just some other banks, whatever, and things. So that's what we'll do. So with Square here, I hadn't actually counted down here. I did have wave 5 here, but I hadn't actually counted it down here. And I still haven't really counted it down here. And I'm not that fussed about it because the thing, and it may come down much further as well. But what I want to see here, because I've done all the counting here, and I can't see I can't see where I've made a mistake. I think everything's okay. But what I am looking for, wherever this finishes off, I need to see 5 waves up here. So I'm not really sort of fussed about anything. I know that other banks have still got further to go down, but I need that impulse wave to the upside so we can build our first position on the B wave high here for that. Okay, so that's what we're waiting for. So I'm not really, because I could count that as 1 and 2 and then 1 and 2 in here and so on. So I'm not really that fussed about it, just to be honest. But we want that impulse wave. So with that said, this is also Square, just on this trading platform. I'm just going to get this in here a little bit better. So yeah, look, we'd been looking at, so that's just Square, but this is Morgan's. So yeah, look, I hadn't paid too much attention to all of this as well. As you know, I'd never really worked out what was going on in this space here. I knew that it would have the rally, though it went higher than the 61.8%, but look, it's eventually sort of rolled over. And the good thing about this, we're at the medium level here, 150. So look, we may just have this I mean, it's pretty sharp for a C wave. If we look at this as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here, that's pretty sharp, right? But what I want to do is let it finish off. I can't see if I can't see if it's 5 waves in here or not yet, so I need to wait for more information. And it could come deeper. It could be down for 1 and back for 2 and 3, 4, 5 come down deeper. But I want it to come below the level, and then if it gets back on the level, comes down and gets back on it as support, like something like this, well, then we can go long above these highs, and start to build in on the long side. So we're not ready for this yet, and we'll just see how it travels down. Goldman's is the same. We've looked at that. So with Goldman it's a little bit easier. So we can see here we've got a 1 and 2 here, but we don't have the 3 and 4 in here just yet. So we're still coming down further for this. But yeah, we could pick it up. I mean, it's rather sharp. I mean, it could be, it's very sharp for a wave C. That sort of haunts me a bit. The wave C is normally lazier than the A wave. The A wave is normally the sharp one, and the wave C is normally the lazier one, on more of an angle. So the more of an angle something is on, then the stronger it's going to be. So this could be a third wave here. So we could be in something else here. We'll just see BAC, we haven't seen that for a while. Yeah, I've got wave 5 up here, but you could probably also put wave 5 here with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 at this point. That would leave this here as wave 1 here, coming back for wave 2 here, and then going up for wave 3 there. So that's also possible. I'll just leave that in the middle there. So anyway, I'll just keep an eye on that. I don't see any trade setups here just yet, PayPal. We looked at this yesterday. So with PayPal here, we're still looking. This could be the low coming into play here, and that's it. I'll need to do a little bit more work because in this case we could have this as the A wave here, the B wave here, and then the C wave here. So that means that I'll need to adjust all of this, and this wave 1 would come over to here. I must look at what Alessio's done here. He's probably given it more thought than I have. So 1 here and 2 here, and then so the low could actually be here. But still, I know that this is not ready here yet. And also, too, if it just comes down here a little bit and then it finds support on the 200, the major trading level, well, then that's perfect. We'll go from that point, But to have the closest, largest number for your trade setup is really important, because that large number, that's the one that's going to gather all the support or the resistance in the market depth. That's what's going to protect you, for your stop. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that, I think, for all of that. So yeah, look, we'll just keep an eye on the finance side of things, but I don't want to short it at the moment because we're too late. I don't want to go long because it'll be too early. So we just have to be patient and wait for it to fall into place. So thanks for tuning in. Cheers.